Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what to do your first 7 days of becoming a loan officer. So as you guys may or may not know, I make a ton of videos for new loan officers, even seasoned loan officers, sharing what I've learned in the business. And I've made a video going over what I would do the first 30 days of becoming a loan officer. But just recently, one of you guys reached out to me, was like, hey Enrique, I just started as a loan officer. I actually start on Monday. What do you recommend I do my first week? So I decided to make this video for you guys, going a little bit more into detail, a little bit more into the specifics as to what I would do if I was just starting as a loan officer, what I would do that first week. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, number one is going to be setting up your CRM system. What's a CRM system? It's a client relationship management system. Now, why is this important? Why did I put this first and not later? Because you may be thinking to yourself, well, Enrique, I just started and I know 0 people. Well, you still want to set this up because your network, I would say, is the biggest and most important part of your business as a loan officer, in any business, not just being a loan officer, not just being a real estate agent. Because this is where you're going to store your clients, store their data, store their information, their phone numbers, their emails, their wants and needs. This is where you're going to have campaigns so you can reach out to them. This is where you're going to have newsletters to reach out to them. This is where you're going to be able to communicate with them, right? Because another thing that people are terrible at in the business is they know all these people, they have this huge network, but they don't communicate with them. So it's not just important to have a network stored in your database, to have people stored in your database, to have leads, prospects stored in your database. It's also important to communicate to them. And that's why this is important, because having people in your contacts is not good enough. I know they recommend it in the beginning, hey, just have them in your contacts at the CRM system, but why do that when you can have a full CRM system that will not only allow you to store your clients, but also communicate to your clients? Now, last thing I want to mention about your CRM system is make sure that right after you set it up, right after you organize it and all that good stuff, you also create some kind of newsletter or some kind of campaign or some type of follow-ups for the people that you store in there, because it's important that, again, you communicate with these people, not just store them, right? So right now I'm currently using Follow Up Boss. Make sure you guys check them out. I don't have a discount code for you guys, but yeah, highly recommend Follow Up Boss for your CRM system. All right, number 2 is printing and reading your guidelines. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. One, as a new loan officer, you're not going to know a whole lot, and there's thousands and thousands of guidelines. So what you want to do is kind of set yourself up in a way where you're learning a little bit every single day. Because if you do this and you continue to do this on a regular basis, you'll be more experienced, more knowledgeable than the loan officer that's been in the business for 20 years. Because most of those people do not read their guidelines. They're only focused on the prospecting side of the business. And I'm not saying that the prospecting side is not important, it is, but you also want to focus on the personal education. So ask your manager, hey, where can I get access to the FHA, VA, and conventional guidelines? Print them out and read them, or just read them on your desktop or your laptop. But it's very, very important that from the beginning, you start reading these so you have the information, but more importantly than that, you also have the confidence. So when you go out there on the field, you're going to be less afraid to be asked questions, because you're going to have that certainty that, hey, I'm actually reading the guidelines. I'm actually reading what people need to do and have to get a loan from FHA, conventional, and VA. And real quick, I'm not saying you have to read the entire thing your first week. I'm just saying read a little bit every single day, maybe 2 or 3 pages, maybe 15 or 20 minutes every single day. All right, number 3 is ask questions and go into the office. This costs you nothing. Now, if you're very far from the office, let's say you're 2 hours from your office, then maybe don't go to the office as much if you don't have to. But very, very important that you ask as many questions as possible. Again, do not underestimate how much information you need to know in this business. You need to know a ton of information, and you will be taught that much information. So you're going to be taught that much, and you need to know that much. So again, it's very important that you start accumulating, gathering, retrieving information. One way to do that is to ask questions, right? And if it means being annoying, then so be it. Because I'd rather be annoying than be in front of a customer and be like, hey, I messed up on your transaction. Now we have to fall out of escrow. So ask questions and ask frequently. And if you're close by your office, try to be in the office as much as possible so you can hear in on conversations from your coworkers and conversations from your manager, right? As they're on conversations with clients, with realtors, with escrow companies, you can listen in on those conversations and then learn a couple of things. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's important to read your guidelines, but there's certain things that you can't read or can't learn from your guidelines that are part of the business, that are part of the transactions, that are part of a deal. Every deal is going to be different. So the more you can learn from your colleagues and your managers, the better. All right, number 4 is having your marketing materials ready. Why is this important? Because right now, like we spoke earlier, who knows you and who you know is very important and very pertinent to how many deals you're going to get done, to how many escrows you're going to open. And what your marketing materials allow you to do is have something to go out there and prospect with, right? Yes, you can cold call, but I guarantee you that your conversion will be much higher if you're out there passing out flyers as opposed to just bugging people over a phone call. Hey, do you want to refinance? 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 Right now, in listening to that, you can tell that it's pretty annoying. So do you want to actually annoy people, or do you want to provide value? And I know that they tell you at your office, hey, you're providing value by cold calling them. That's partly true, but not really. You're providing value by giving things. And if you're able to not just give information verbally, but to give something in a physical sense, that will be superior and it will increase your conversion ratio. So it's very important that you have your marketing materials set up. Now, if you need help with this, I highly recommend to check out my online store. I have a ton of marketing materials for you guys to generate buyers for you and your real estate agents. For example, I have the home buyer workshop, I have the home buyer booklet, I have the home buyer trifold. Those are all things that you can do and use to go out there and get more business. Now, just to give you an idea as to how powerful those things are, 2 weeks ago, I was passing out the home buyer booklet and I got a deal. That client is now qualified. We actually just met with them this past Friday. They're qualified for a purchase price of $980,000. The average loan officer makes 1% to 2% of the loan amount on a deal. So I'll have on the screen how much I can potentially make off of that deal just because of that home buyer booklet. Now that's just one example. I also have the home buyer pamphlet that I got another deal from. That client is qualified for about $510,000. Again, 1 to 2% of that is X amount of money that I'm gonna be making on that deal. And that's just in the past 2 months from passing out those materials. So it's very important that you guys have materials to go out there and pass out to people because they're gonna appreciate it. They're actually, now ask your company if you have marketing materials that you can use. I went ahead and I made my own because what I realized was a bunch of the marketing materials from our companies are terrible, right? They don't make sense. They're super complicated. They're super ugly. So what I did was create my own marketing materials. And I've also taken a course on how to teach and how to market yourself. So based on that information that I learned, I created my own marketing materials. So if you guys want to go ahead and grab mine, check it out. It's on my website. Highly recommend, guys. I will literally be begging you guys to get these materials because they made such a difference. And like I said, in the past 2 months, I've gotten clients that are qualified for X amount, and I'm going to be making about X amount. Now I have partnered up with OnCourse, previously known as Learn Mortgage. They're one of the top loan officer pre-licensing education platforms online, and they're offering the Enrique and Greatness family 20% off the pre-licensing education and a tool called Prep Excel, which will help you guys prepare and pass the exam. So they're offering 20% off. I have the link down below. They do a phenomenal job. They helped me get my license, so I highly encourage you guys to take advantage of that offer. All right, number 5 is getting and practicing your homebuyer workshop. So reach out to your manager and be like, hey, do we have a homebuyer workshop? If you guys don't, check out the one that I have on my store. I guarantee you it's gonna change your life. The reason it's important to have this homebuyer workshop is so that you get used to communicating loan products. You get used to communicating what it takes to be a first-time homebuyer, what it takes to buy your first home, what it takes to qualify for certain programs. Because in the beginning, you don't know anything. And in going through this workshop, you're gonna be able to conceptualize, okay, these are the steps to buying a home. This is the way to communicate these things. This is the way to qualify for your first home or your first loan or your second home. So make sure you check that out and make sure that once you get it, whether it be through your manager or whether it be through my workshop, that you present it as many times as possible. That way the information sticks and you're better able to communicate with your clients and your real estate agent partners. And aside from that, you're better able to convert those people. Hey, I know what I'm talking about. All right, number 6 is sitting down and creating your value proposition for your clients and for your realtors. What's a value proposition? Well, the reasons why someone should work with you. So sit down and based on what we talked about, your CRM system, your campaigns, your newsletters, being someone who reads their guidelines, being someone who has great marketing materials, being someone who has a homebuyer workshop and is able to communicate effectively. Based on all that we just talked about, sit down and be like, okay, what's my value proposition? Why is a real estate agent gonna work with me? And I just gave you a few of them. You read your guidelines, you have a homebuyer workshop, you have great marketing materials. Those are value propositions. So you wanna make sure that you have that on your value proposition and then expand from that. What else are you good at, or what else do you do that real estate agents will find valuable? Because it's important to have real estate agent partners in this business. 80 to 90% of the deals that I get come from my real estate agent partners. Eventually, it's going to transition into where you're going to get referrals from your clients. But in the beginning, it's very, 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 very important that you connect with and have strong realtor partner relationships. So make sure that you have a great realtor prop. They're not going to work with you just because you have great loans. I've never, ever, 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 ever pitched loan products to a real estate agent partner, because we all have the same loans, you guys. We all have the same non-QM loans. We all have the same FHA. We all have the same conventional. We all have the same this. So don't be pitching. I mean, you could, but don't be pitching in the beginning, hey, I have great loan programs. They don't care because the other guy said that, and the other guy said that, and the other guy said that. But I guarantee you, very few of them said, hey, I have a homebuyer workshop. Very few of them say, hey, I have a great newsletter. Very few of them said, hey, I have this, I have that. So write out your value proposition, add things to it, aside from the workshop, aside from what we already went over. But it's very, very important that this thing is humongous and it's valuable to you and to them. When it comes to clients, hey, what can you offer them to put them in a better position to get their first home, second home, investment property? And also, how can you provide better service to them? That's part of the value prop when it comes to your clients. So sit down and brainstorm those things, because there's a ton of competition out there. And if you want to set yourself apart, if you want to stay in the business, you're going to have to set yourself apart. So make sure that you do this. All right, so the last thing is going to be to prospect. Do not just sit down at your office and expect realtors to call you, expect clients to come to you. That's not going to happen. And if you do that, you're going to go out of business. And that's why most people in the beginning go out of business, because they don't prospect. Why don't they prospect? Because they don't have a strong value prop. Why don't they have a strong value prop? Because they don't have a strong foundation, which is what we went over in this video. Guys, I'm begging you, don't take this video lightly. Don't take these steps lightly. Don't take what I go over in this video lightly. Step 1, the CRM system. Step 2, printing out your guidelines. Step 3, asking your questions. Step 4, having your marketing materials. Step 5, having your homebuyer workshop. Guys, do not underestimate this video. I'm honestly begging you guys right now, because I've seen so many real estate agents, so many loan officers fail in the business. Just the other day, I heard that 100,000 real estate agents are gonna exit the business. So don't take this video lightly. Do everything that I'm telling you guys to do, because it's worked for me. That's why I'm sharing this, because it's worked for me. So do all these things, have your value prop, and then go out there and prospect. The reason people don't prospect is because they don't have any of these things. You have these things now. You have your marketing materials, you have your booklet, you have your homebuyer workshop, you have your pamphlets, you have your value prop. So go out there and prospect. Don't be afraid. You're gonna have these tools with you. You've been reading your guidelines, so there's no reason for you to be afraid. And go out there and kill it, guys. I believe in you guys. Any questions, reach out to me. If you guys enjoy my content, leave a big thumbs up, comment down below with any questions, any thoughts, reach out to me with questions, and subscribe for more content just like this. I make content on loan officer training, real estate agent training, entrepreneurship, life improvement, and greatness. Thanks again so much for your time. See you in the next video, and be great.